All right, you're back.
All right. Good morning, everybody. We are on Daf Samach. Today's Daf. So we left off yesterday. We were on the top. We got to a couple. There's a couple terutzim for kasha. So we had one case. We made a diuk by a case of a ring. A woman who wears a ring out into the public. So the Mishnah says a woman is not allowed to. She cannot wear a ring that does not have a chaysim, does not have a signet. Mashma from there, that if it does, and over there, it's pater v'lasser. She's not chayv v'chatas, but nevertheless, she should not go ahead and do it. Fry, if you want, you can sit next to me. We can share the Gemara. You can come with me. So anyway, so we say over there that, but mashmos is that there is but if there is a chaysim, if there is a signet, and she carries it, and the Rishis she is chayv, it must be that it's not considered a tachshit. It must be considered that it's not gosi berachos Torah. It must be that it's not considered to be something which is a utensil, an ornament that she could wear out. So, but then we brought another case of a Mishnah from. We brought another Mishnah from. 1 second. We brought it from Kalim. That's mashma that the rings, that whether it has a signet or whether it doesn't have a signet, is considered to be tamei. So it's considered to be a tachshit. So how do you go ahead and answer that? So the first teretz was machlokes tanaim between Rabbi Nechemya and the Rabbanan, and now we're about to go ahead and Rava is going to give the second teretz. So Rav Amar letzadim katani. Rava says it's actually two different cases. It's two different sides. So yeshela chaysem, if it does have a signet, then tachshit ish. Then it's considered to be tamei. Why? Because it's considered to be a tachshit, an ornament of a man, right? Because men typically were the ones who used rings with signets in order to stamp different documents. However, if there is no chaysem, then it's a tachshit l'isha. Then it's considered to be a tachshit for a woman. So therefore, if there is no signet, that's considered to be a tachshit for the woman. So therefore, whether or not it has a signet, it's always tamei because it's for a man, right? It's always makabel tuma. Why? Either for a man or for a woman, either one. But when it comes to Shabbos, right? That what we're talking about, only to go out, was referring to that of a woman wearing that of a man, and therefore that would be something which should be pater v'lasser. Rav Nachum by Yitzchak Amar, Rav Nachum is Amar Tuma Shabbos Karamis. You're asking a question from things that something which is
what about jewelry? Is it jewelry?
Well, there's different kinds of jewelry, right? There's different kinds of jewelry we've been talking about, right? Some that is something that is worn. Anything that one is allowed to wear clothing and stuff into public, right? The issue is something that gets removed. Then, even though you can wear it, it's not considered to be a package or a masui that you're carrying. Nevertheless, if there is a chashash that one would take it off, then the Rabbanan were geyser and they decree that the person should not wear it off. Why? Because even though he wear it and he's not high, but then he might take it off and might carry. Therefore, we don't want you wearing it in the first place.
Right, but
so,
usually it's only a woman that takes it off to show off to her friends. A man really never takes off his expensive watch or his jewelry, right? So we're not worried necessarily. I'm saying it's really only women we're worried about that takes off their jewelry. Men really don't take off their jewelry to show off.
Well, we had different scenarios. In other words, we said it earlier. So one case is talking about wealthy people don't remove it, and because they don't show off things, and other people. Right. We had one price that says they do take it off. It must be someone who's not used to wearing such items, right? And therefore they want to go.
The poor people, they wear colors. The rich people, they wear silver and gold, right? So the wealthy people are not going to, even the thing of that we were talking about with the Yerushalayim Shal Zachav.
Right. So over there, so if it was a wealthy person, then they want to take it off. But a poor person would take off if poor person was wearing Yerushalayim Shal Zachav. Says, look, I saved up, 3 months of my savings to buy this, so they're going to show it off or show people.
So what about for a man? The signet ring is.
We did not discuss a man yet.
Okay,
all right, we
gotcha.
Did not discuss a man yet. We'll get there. I mean, so we'll see how it goes throughout the pair. So Shabbos is asking by Tuma to Shabbos. Tuma kli ma'isa, right? Tuma Amar Rahman. So Tuma has to do with being a utensil. And therefore
we just mentioned a tax sheet for a man. That was what Rava started with. He said tax sheet di'ish.
No. That was talking about the Tuma part. It's Makabel Tuma because it's considered to be a tachshit for an individual. We weren't talking about a man wearing it on Shabbos, right? He was just talking over there, those things are makabel tuma. Why is that? Because men would wear a ring with signets, and those are makabel tuma. Now, so we say over here, tuma Shabbos koramis, tuma kli ma'isa merachmana. The kliu. Now, as when it comes to any sort of ring, so it just has to be utensil, because that's what Torah says. It needs a utensil. But Shabbos, when it comes to Shabbos, it doesn't do with the utensil. Mishum masui. The Torah forbids to carry something which is a package. And masui merachmana. So ein alach chayse tachshit yesh alach chayse masui. Therefore, it doesn't have a. It's considered. So in other words, it has two different things. So one was talking about whether it's a clear knot, and this one is talking about whether it's considered a masui. So you're talking about apples and oranges. Finally, the Mishnah says, "V'loy b'mechet," a woman should not go out with a mechet with a needle that does not have a hole, an eye in the needle. It's not functioning. So the Gemara says, "L'may chazi." Why are they allowed to go ahead and handle it and have it in the first place? Then she goes up and she basically pins up her hair in it, and therefore, since she pins up her hair with the needle, there is a use in Shabbos, and therefore she can go ahead and she shouldn't go ahead and wear it out to the public. Let it be, as we'll soon see later on, right? Referring to a garter, right? A woman wears a garter perhaps to hold up her stockings, and therefore, so a woman will not. It's being worn, so a woman will not go ahead and take it off and show it because it's it's an area that's that's worn. It's an area that's not usually revealed. She doesn't want to go ahead and remove it. So same thing here. If you have a pin in your hair underneath your hat, why is that forbidden? Why are we worried about that? She's going to uncover her hair to take it out. Since a woman can use it to go ahead and basically brush her hair, right? Part her hair with the needle, right? Therefore, that's the usage. So the Gemara says, b'Shabbos l'may chazi. So what about Shabbos? Shabbos, one does not comb their hair, right? So what about there? Because Samarova, Tashels of Yeshla. In other words, one of the ends was gold. So Bichol, during the week, was used. Why? It was used to go ahead and part the hair. And Shabbos, on Shabbos, when one normally does not go ahead and comb his hair, she go ahead and basically put it like in her hat with the golden end sticking out. There's like an ornament. So therefore, there was a usage on Shabbos. Nevertheless, one should not go ahead, or a woman should not go ahead and wear it out on Shabbos. Fine. Naya Mishnah. Mishnah says, Layetze ha'ish v'sandal hamasumar. One should not go out with a nail-studded sandal, right? They used to have sandals, like almost like a cleat, right? And underneath the sandals, I guess, were cleats, perhaps to go ahead.
Layetze ha'ish.
Right. This is ish. Right. I said ish. I think it's ish. Right. A man should
said
not go out.
Woman, yeah, man.
Okay, we'll have to review the tape, but okay, fine. Anyway, so we say that so a person should not go out, and I actually will. Something which was with a sandal which has a needle, right, or nails on the bottom. We'll soon see, perhaps somewhat similar to like a cleat, right? That they used to go ahead and wear them, and also not go out with any sort of one shoe at all, because a person might go ahead and take it off. Will be embarrassed, but that'll be tomorrow's Gemara. Only that which you say one shoe is us. There's only a time where, let's say, he doesn't have an obvious wound on one of his legs, which will explain why he's walking around with one shoe.
The roads weren't paved. That's why they wore those, right? Because it was like...
we'll see to protect, right? We'll soon see the different reasons for it, right? V'loy b'tefillin, and also not b'tefillin. We'll discuss this tomorrow. V'loy b'kamiyah shem b'zman she'ed min ha'mumcha. Also with a kamiyah amulet. In other words, it's not a proven amulet to go ahead and heal somebody. So therefore, a person might go ahead and remove it. So therefore, one should not go ahead and wear it on Shabbos. V'lo b'shiryon, v'lo b'kazda, v'lo b'magafayim. And so these three items, which Rashi says we'll explain in the Gemara. And all these cases, if one goes out, eino chayav chad. It's not chayav chad. So it's not considered to be a muscle. It's not considered to be something which is a package which is carried. It is considered to be a tachshid, but however, it's considered to be a tachshid that one might, for some reason, go ahead and carry it for amos in Rishus Rabbah. So let's see the Gemara sandal hamasumar. So we're talking about this this nail-studded sandal. So the question is, why? What is the reason why normally you can wear shoes, right? You can wear shoes at Shabbos because it remains on your feet. You're not going to go ahead and take it off. What is the reason why? So the Gemara says, my time, what's the reason? So Shmuel says, we have actually three different maisim. It actually comes from a Maisa Shahaya. There was a Maisa Shahaya, and where a calamity occurred, And because of the calamity, they wanted to prevent anything similar in the future.
So the
from
shoe is
happening.
a keli, that's what you're saying?
What is it?
The shoe is a keli?
No, you're not carrying it. It's a sandal with the outside. So why specifically these?
See. Okay.
So sandal masumar my time. So Amar Shmuel. So it says Shalfia Gzera Hayu, right? There were people that were hiding from the Gzera. There was a Gzera on the Jewish people during the time from the Romans, and they were hiding from the Gzera, which was given upon the Jews, and they were hiding in the cave, whatever it was. They were going to kill the Jews, and they were hiding there. And they used to go ahead and hide in the cave. They says Hanichnas Yichanes. You're allowed to go in. They'll let people come in and enter. However, but they didn't want people going out, right? Because when you enter, you can look around, see who's outside, and no one's there. Then you go ahead and enter the cave, and it will remain hidden. But if you go out, you have no idea what's out and around you, and therefore, if you go out, there could be someone on the side, there, a Roman or someone else that would see this cave and go into the cave and kill all the people inside. So what happened? One of them wore these specific types of sandal. And he flipped it around. In other words, I guess they weren't so fitted to the foot, and therefore it was basically worn backwards, right? It was basically worn backwards. So, and it looked like basically the footprints. If you put the shoe on backwards and then you walk in, it looks like someone went out as opposed to coming in because the shoe prints were facing going out just because they were worn and flipped around. Right, so they thought that what happened? They saw so they thought, oh, what happened? Someone probably left the cave, and if someone left the cave, maybe one of the Roman soldiers saw him leave the cave, and he's going to go ahead and tell the other Roman soldiers that there's Jews hiding in the cave. So and they said, oh, perhaps the enemies are going to see. They're going to come and kill us. So then they're trying to get out, and they had many people die there. More than the Romans killed. In other words, there are so many people died there, more than the Jews inside. You might say, how is this possible, right? I would also think this doesn't really make any sense, but some of you remember that it was the E2 nightclub here in Chicago. It was like 17 people died. There was, everyone tried to get out at the same time, and people, were stepped upon or suffocated or whatever it was, and people died. So once again, people were rushing to the exit, and they died. And Rabbi Loiben ben Elazar Omer, he says, they actually know they were sitting in the cave. V'shamu kol me'al gabi amar, and they probably heard someone on top walking on top of the cave in these type of cobbled or nail shoes. Right? They thought, oh no, the Romans found us, they're coming to get us. Therefore, they pushed one another, tried to get out, and they killed one another. More than the Romans killed them. And Rami Bar Yecheskel is a different case. Amar Beis HaKnesses actually did not take place in a cave, rather it took place in the Beis HaKnesses. And they heard once again sound, perhaps someone walking in these type of shoes from behind the base. They thought, oh no, the enemies are coming to get us. And therefore they pushed one another to try and get out, and therefore they were killed, and they killed more Jews than the Romans killed, I guess, in that area. And so after that time, whichever Maisa was, the Maisa, Amru, they said, Al Yetze Adav Asandam Sumar. A person should not go out with this, right, hobnailed sandal, right? This type of sandal, one should not go out because that will lead to the Maisa. So oftentimes we see that there is a decree, even though there might not be such a logical correlation, right? Because for this, people to hide in a cave, maybe you can make a rule, don't hide in a cave with sandal. They didn't say, they said on Shabbos it shouldn't be worn because it occurs. The Gemara says, so why does it what does that have to do with Shabbos, right? This should be something which is even done during the week. So Gemara says, no, Maisa kihavi b'Shabbos, since this Maisa occurred on Shabbos, and therefore that's the reason why we answered. So b'Yontif lishtri, if that's the case, if it's only Shabbos, then maybe we should go ahead and permit to wear these on Yontif. Alama Tanan, why do we learn a Mishnah? All right, skip the parentheses. All right, it says over there you can do certain things. You can wear certain things. If aloi sandal masumar, you can't go or send also a sandal masumar because those are not allowed to be worn on Yontif, right? V'loi min al shein tafar. Also, a sandal is not a fully sewn and not a functional sandal. You can't use on Yontif. You can't set the Yontif because there's no use in Yontif. You can't go ahead and sew it. But nevertheless, you see that you can't go ahead and send this sandal on Shabbos. Why? Because you're not allowed to go ahead and wear this sandal masumar on Shabbos. But why is it? I thought you just said it took place on you can't go ahead and wear it on Yontif. So what do you mean? I thought you just said he can't wear it on Shabbos, right? So why should Yontif be an issue, right? If you want to make the Gzeira identical to the Maisa Shahaya. So Gemara says, Shabbos my time. What was the reason why it occurred on Shabbos? It's because, thank you, Eddie, right? So it's because there is a gathering, right? Since there was a gathering of Shabbos, like it was a day of rest and people were gathering, so therefore, the Yantif Nami, Ika Kinufa. So Yantif also has the same type of gathering, so therefore a day where people gather, which is Shabbos or Yantif, therefore this sandal Masumar will be Asr. So Gemara says, Tainus Tzibur Ika Kinufa. So if that's the case, okay, what about Tainus Tzibur? Tainus Tzibur, public fast, people gather together to go ahead and pray. So maybe those days also should be forbidden to wear a sandal Masumar. So Gemara says, no, Maisa Kihavi Bikinufa the Yisura. The Maisa was when it was a day of gathering when there was Asr to do Malacha. So Hacha Kinufa Datera, but when it comes to a Tainus, right, that you're allowed to go do Malacha, right? So therefore it was a gathering of Hetera. It was a gathering when one was permitted to do Malacha, and therefore it's not the exact same. V'afilu Rabbi Chanina ben Akiva, and even according to Rabbi Chanina ben Akiva, the Amr lo Asr ela b'yardem of a svina, right? Kamaisa shahaya. Now there's another completely separate case, an example of something we don't permit because of Maisa Shahaya. It was a Maisa Shahaya when they were going ahead and they were bringing the mechatos, right, to go ahead and be metaher from Tumas Mace, and in the boat that they were traveling in, there was actually a piece of mace, right? There was a bone or whatever in the boat, and it was metamayat, right? And it wasn't be able to use. So they made a decree, right? We don't want to become metame again by transferring the mechata. So therefore, you can't go ahead and take a boat in dafka in the Yarden and this type of boat, in a boat in the Yarden, but any other way is permitted. Any other body of water is permitted. So according to Rabbi Chanina, who says specifically has to be identical, right, to the situation, to that case. So too, why don't we say in our case it has to be identical, right? Maybe only Dafka Shabbos and not Yontif. So why is Yontif included? So either according to Chanina ben Akiva, it's included. Why? Shaya Hani Mil Yarden. The reason why the Yarden was specific, the Shani Mishar Narus, because the Yarden is different than all the types of rivers, right? I guess it moves much better. Yontif, the Shabbos, Kiadadini. But Yontif and Shabbos are basically very, very similar. The Tanai with the Mishnah, Yontif and Shabbos, Ella Eichel Nefesh Billah. The only thing Yontif and Shabbos is basically the permissibility for Eichel Nefesh, person to go ahead and basically cook or other things involved with cooking in order to go ahead and food preparation. Fine. Now we're going to bring a bunch of different halachas when it comes to the sandal and masumar. So that was the reason for the takan. So the reason was, it's not necessarily a logical reason that this shoe over other shoes, because one will take off this type of shoe versus something else. It's not like those different cases that we've been discussing in the past, right? The case in the past was because a person might take off this type of hat, but not that type of hat, or it's covering. This doesn't have to do with it. This has to do with the Maisa Shaya. So therefore, we're only geyser things that were similar to those shoes that were in that. So I'm going to
question.
Yeah.
Question. So really the base for that shoes with nail has nothing to do with cultivating the land. It has to do only with that phase of few months or years because of the Roman. It has nothing to do with Shabbos.
Not right. It has nothing to do with Shabbos. It has to do with that a calamity happened to the Jewish people because of these shoes.
But you would think the one with nail will cultivate the earth.
Right. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with taking off the shoe and carrying it, or nothing to do with the fact.
Right. Okay.
All right. Also, we're only talking about nails that are used basically to strengthen the shoe. They used to be saying the shoe, as Andrew pointed out, perhaps to save the shoe, to save the sole, or the bottom of the leather, right? Only the chazik of Illinois. But if the nails are on it, then mutter, right? Because during that time, they were only the nails that were on their shoes during times of the Romans, and the decrees upon them. They were only wearing it basically to mechazik. They weren't wearing it, for to be cool, right? It wasn't Illinois. It wasn't for a decoration of the shul. The Kamal Illinois, and how many nails are in Illinois? Rabbi Yochanan or Chamesh. Rabbi Yochanan says 5 in each shoe, Chamesh b'zev, 5 in each shoe. Rabbi Chanina, Omer Shev b'zev, Shev b'zev. Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Chanina says 7 on each shoe, 7 nails on the bottom. And Amalei Rabbi Yochanan, the Rav Shimon bar Abbas, Asvitachal Ladidi, and I'll explain to you how it was. Where do you get 5? Shtayim mekan, v'shtayim mekan. Basically, 2 on the outside of the foot and 2 on the inside of the foot. V'yachas in one area where the straps connect, I guess maybe like in the front and the middle, that's where the, right, I guess by the toe, perhaps that's where the 5th and odd nail was, right? Because that was 5, And the other one said Rabbi Chanina, who said there were 7. So Gilum Mekan, there's 3 on one side, 3 on the other. And the other one by the other.
I got a picture that shows the position of the nails.
Right, the nails there. Right, Eddie posted the picture. Those want to see per the Steinsaltz Gemara. So the Gemara says, sandal hanoite. If you have a sandal which is basically uneven, right? Maybe one of the soles, the guy, walks in, so you can see, and then one of the sides is rubbed down more than the other, so it's leaning. So isolation. So one second, last place. So Mesei sandal hanoite isolation sheva. Divrei Rav Nasan. You can make over there 7 according to Rav Nasan, and Rebbe Matzah be a gimel. Rebbe Matzah is 13. So it's 7 or 13. So Bishlan Rabbi Chanina, who Damar Rabbi Nasan. I understand Rabbi Chanina who said 7 earlier. He holds like Rabbi Nasan. Rabbi Yechon, but Rabbi Yechon said 5. Damar Kaman. He holds like who? So the Gemara says no. Who Damar Rabbi Nurai? He holds like Rabbi Nurai. The tiny learner by Rabbi Nurai. Aimer Chamesh Mutter. 5 is permissible for Noi. The Sheva Aser, but 7 is already no longer Noi. Maybe it's more be Mechazek. And Amarle Eifel Rabbi Barachana. So it says, Asun, you guys, Talmid Rabbi Yechanan, you guys who are Talmid Rabbi Yechanan, Avdik Rabbi Yechanan, you do like Rabbi Yechanan, well, it's 5, and Anu Navdik Rabbi Chanina, and we who follow Rabbi Chanina will hold like Rabbi Chanina. So, Boimene Rav Huna me Rav Ashi, says Rav Huna, so Rav Huna asks a question from Rav Ashi, Kamish Mahu. So what's the halacha? They asked him about 5. So Amarleya Filu Shiva Mutter, even 7. So not only 5, but even 6 or 7 is considered mutter. Anything more than that would be considered to be mechazek and would not be considered to be noi. And tesmai, what about 9? So Amarleya Filu Ches Aser. So once again, even 8 is aser. In other words, 7 or less is mutter, and 8 or more was aser. So one time a shoemaker asked Rami, so tougher if it was sewn on the inside, right? In other words, the nails weren't there, but basically the sandal was like sewn on the inside. Mahu, what's halacha there? So Amarle, mutter. It's mutter. V'lo yadina my time, and I don't know the reasons. So Amar Rav Ashi, v'lo yadina mar, and you don't know what the reasons. My time. It's a cave in the tough room. Once you sew it on the inside, it's like a shoe. So the sandal gazer rabbanon, but mina loy gazer be rabbanon. And only when it came to a sandal, that was the nail-studded sandal. That was where they made a decree on. But a shoe, they were not geyser. And boy, mene Rabbi Abba bar Zavda, me Rabbi Abba bar Avina. So what's
the difference between a shoe and a sandal?
What is it?
What's the difference between a shoe and a sandal?
So a shoe has more, it was sewn on the inside, right? Sewn all together, and therefore it was one compact piece. I guess the sandal was not. There was more of a, you put your foot on, just on something, and then and you attach it somehow to the top, as opposed to a shoe, which is more, around.
Open toe versus closed toe, right?
Yeah.
But he's right with his question. The shoe or the sandal with the leather on the foot is to hold it, embrace it. But why you need nails for sandal and not for shoe?
So the nails, I think the Gemara will get to in terms of
both is to grasp your foot better. So what's the difference here? Why have nails?
You have to make the distinction between shoes in Yemen and shoes in the rest of the world.
All right.
No. But
let's go on. The Gemara will
no, seriously, basic question. Why with sandals you had to have nails, whether it's 5 or 13, and with the shoe you don't have to have the nails?
Right. So those nails, if you had this number 5 or 7 or 13, that was like the style for decoration. If there was a lot more than that, obviously it was basically to keep the shoe together. But we'll soon see different reasons of having nails and not having nails, why they had it. So so what about if you made it kamin kalvus? Kamin kalvus basically was like bent over, right? So it's mutter. In other words, each one on the bottom was bent over. Also kamin kalvus mutter. If it was made also that the nails were bent over, like sort of instead of the nail being straight, they bent it over, so each one was basically used twice on the bottom. Mutter. And Amrav Sheshes Chivu Kalu Musmeres Kadeshlo Karkea Achalaso. Let's say they went ahead and they had the entire the bottom of it like fully nailed, right? In order that the ground should not touch the touch the bottom of the sole in order to protect it. So it's mutter. And Tani Kavase Rav Sheshes, because once again, these were not shoes that were similar to those that were worn in the cave. And Tani Kavase Rav Sheshes Lo Yetza Ish Besandal Masumar, a person should not go outside on a sumar, below yitayel, not even to go from a house to house, even inside, even from bed to bed. But he could go ahead and use it to go ahead and cover a vessel, or use it for another purpose, or or if the bed is uneven, you can go ahead and stick it underneath a bed. And it's not muksa, you can use it for other purposes. And the Rabbi Elazar, but Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Shimon says, no, it is usher to go ahead and use it for any other reason because it's muksa. And Nashu Rov Mimas Roisov. Let's say there were a lot of nails in it, and then a bunch of them it fell out. The Nishtar Bodal or Chamisha Mutter, and either 4 or 5 are left, and it's Mutter. In other words, because since most of them fell out, and it's no longer the way it originally was, as this, if we can have 4 or 5 is Mutter. And the Rebbe Matir Ad Shiva, and Rebbe says up until 7. Now, Chifu
Here I have another picture of all their pins.
Another picture there.
Sandal with all the
Show it.
He's showing it right here. Maybe have to enlarge it or something.
Show it 1 second. All right. Whatever. Okay.
Now, Chifu, I brought it in. So the Chifu B'or, let's say you went ahead, Milamata. Right? So let's say, now normally the way it was, you had the soft leather on top and the sole underneath it, and they were attached, with nails. There was a nail attached to it, and the nails, were underneath it. Now, let's say you also underneath the sole, you put leather underneath that part. So yichibu or milamata underneath. Now, there's underneath the part the kolum ismaros milamala, and then they put the nails over it. Then mutter. Then it is mutter because this is once again it was fashioned in a different way. Also, kamin kalbus, or kamin tas, or kamin yased. But if the nails were not in a standard way, let's say they were made bent over, we saw earlier, or it was like a bar, or like very pointy, like a stake that goes through without a flat end or a round end. Or if it was completely had nails all over it, in order that the ground should not go ahead and ruin it. That we say is mutter. All these cases are mutter. So in other words, if it's not made the standard way, if it deviates from the standard way, then it's mutter. So Gemara says, Hagu kasha. What does it say? We have a kasha. Amarta nashul rav mismarosav apagadin beituva. First of all, you said if most of them fell out, so if there were 20 nails, okay, and most of them fell out, there were only 9 left, then it's mutter, right? If a hadar tani, then it says, arba chamish in tfelo, then it says only 4 or 5. So it sounds like only 4 or 5. So Amar Sheish is like Kash, not Kash. Ha nigmumu ha shenakro. If over there they were flattened out, so since they were they were flattened out, they're worn down, and therefore basically it's all the same level. So therefore, such a case you have to have more than half because then it has to appear different. But Kanshanakro but when you go ahead and when they're completely removed, in other words, when they're completely removed, in other words, when you can't tell. They're the ones that are removed because it's not flattened down. Rather, they're completely removed, and you don't see it was another way earlier. So therefore, it can only be 4 or 5. And arba chamesh mutter, we say there are 4 or 5 is mutter. Gemara says, what do you mean? Why say 4 or 5? Hashta chamesh shari. If you say it has 5 nails, then because that's considered to be lechazek, right? To strengthen it, then it's mutter, right? So arba mi boy, so 4. You have to tell me something. Chizda arba b'sandal kota b'chamesh b'sandal gadol. No, 4 is a smaller sandal, and 5 is for a larger one. The Rebbe Matir at Shiva and Rebbe Matir 7. I've Tani Rebbe Matir at Shloshis. Right? What do you mean? You said earlier Rebbe was the opinion of 13. That's an opinion. So no, because if it's leaning on one side, and therefore you need more to go ahead and to even it up, therefore 13 is permissible. And the Gemara says, "Hash does the how can I say this?" Rabbi Yechon, earlier when we asked a question on Rabbi Yechon, we said 5, and we brought a price that said 7 or 13. We said, Rabbi Yechon, who does he hold like? There's also no kasha on Rabbi Yechon. Then why? So Naitel Shani, because perhaps over there was talking about it once again. Also, that normally it is 5, but if it's the shoe that's leaning one side and you need to go ahead and raise it up, then you can use even 7. And
well, it's definitely something that it's an odd number versus even, right?
Right.
I mean, that's
yeah. Because then you have, I guess, 1 for the area where the straps come in, right? So, Amarav Masna, Amarav Masna. Ein halach Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. It's like not like Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. Why? Because he holds that he said it was muksa. You can't use it for anything, even to cover a kli or to put it underneath the bed to straighten out. So Gemara says, "Pshit, that's obvious. It's a machlokes him versus the Rabbanan and the shafal the Rabbanan." So the says, no, Mount. What would you say? Maybe the reason is because according to Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon, who holds that in terms of when it comes to muksa, right, and he holds like Rabbi Shimon. So Kamash Mallah, the halachas like Rabbim that we say over there that no, that when it comes to that even though that when it comes to different muksa, nevertheless, Kamash Mallah, and then in this case we go like the Rabbim that says it is mutter to go ahead and use it. And Amr B'chia Ilav Dekari Le Bevloi Shari. So it says if he didn't call me right if he didn't call me the Babylonian that that matters everything, right, he's a big mako, right, the big mako of Babylonian. Shari Isur Sharinum, I would too, right? I would have said it was also Asur, no, but I didn't want to go ahead and and have this matter more things. I didn't want to be too mako, so therefore I asked it. The Kama, the Pumadisa. Now, and then so we say over there, and how many was he going to go ahead and matir? He would have matered even 24. Now it's normally something which was be mechazik, even 24 nails, we can still say is considered to be something which is noi, which is sort of like ornamental or decoration, and even 24 was not considered to be mechazik, the sandal, right? So then it was up to what we were talking earlier about 5 or 7. He says he was going to permit even up to 24. And the surah and they said Esim entirety says 22. And how do you remember whether it's 24 or 22, which place? Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, the simana way to remember is Ades and Pumadisa l'surah chaser tarti, right? When you go from Pumadisa to surah, you lose 2, right? In other words, basically, because in Pumadisa they said 24 nails will be permitted, and in surah they said 22. So therefore, the way to remember is from Pumadisa to surah, you lose 2, and we'll stop here at the 2 dots. Everyone have a wonderful day. Shkoyach.
Shkoyach.
Safe. Enjoy.